2009 in our new facility. It's been kind of exciting moving over here and getting this operation running again. This was supposed to be our walk before you run open house. We're having to draw it a little bit. It's like quite a great turnout. So really appreciate everybody coming out. Appreciate the enthusiasm of the community for us to be back. Louder, please. The microphone's getting closer. All right. Can you hear me now? Way back. Can you hear me in the tower? Okay. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to do a couple little quick special events for our first open house. What we're really trying to do is trying to get practice running our open houses over here in this new facility. Tarmac out front's a little bit different than we're used to, so we're trying to exercise that a little bit. We're hoping to have this corner hangar here for our next open house, and that will kind of open things up a little bit better for us. And so we're just really kind of looking forward to continuing to grow. All right, to start our activities off, we're going to start, the Civil Air Patrol has always been a huge part of what we're doing here. We really appreciate their continuing support, and we really appreciate working with the Civil Air Patrol, and especially the cadets in particular. I know the seniors carry a lot of the water in this particular environment, but the cadets are really the ones that really support what we're doing out here. They're out on the line. They're docents for the airplanes. You ask the cadets about these airplanes. Some of the new ones are still learning, but the older ones, any of the non-HOFs that know all about these airplanes. If you really want to get a lesson on the Sky Raider, find a non-HOF and they will tell you everything about it. So I really appreciate everything the Civil Air Patrol has done for us. And Lauren, we'd like to start our, open our show up today with a presentation of the colors by the Civil Air Patrol. So present the colors, please. Any of the Civil Air Patrol people. The senior program is also a great program, and there's a lot of opportunity to do some very interesting things in supporting our community through the Civil Air Patrol. So talk to those folks about what that program is, if you are interested. Our museum, you know what we're doing this for. The reason that we are doing this is to honor veterans. And so the Civil Air Patrol works in great with that, and I really appreciate the colors. The veterans are the ones that have secured our freedoms, and so that's what we're trying to do, is to continue a patriotic theme throughout our the activities that we do. All right, we have with us today as a special speaker for our opening ceremonies, a person that has kind of come newly to the community and kind of showed up one day. It's always interesting when you're not actually open. We did a flyby for a couple of events, a Vietnam Memorial thing, and we're putting the airplanes away. And you know, we're just trying to think, oh, hopefully people won't think we're doing an open house and we'll end up being stuck here all day. The door, knock on the door, and I'm like, okay, here's some of the visitors, and we'll always let you in. And you expect them to open the door and you hear, well, I heard there was a Mustang here. I saw the Skyraider flying. I came here to see that. No, I opened the door, the guy says, I heard you guys had an 01. You go on, here's a really interesting story right here. That guy was Colonel Sam Raines. He's a retired Army colonel, a highly decorated combat veteran, and an aviator. And so we really appreciate him coming out here. Sam spent over 30 years in the Army with a background primarily in Special Forces, aviation, and combat engineering. This is, he had spent a follow-on career, like many in the military, follow-on career as a senior executive with an international firm where he led national security support to the U.S. government and other friendly foreign countries. He and his wife, Carol, recently moved to Bellingham from Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. He's a rated pilot in 13 different fixed and rotary wing aircraft with flight experience in Vietnam, Europe, Africa, Middle East, and the U.S. I just got a little bit of the story of him flying a Beaver from Africa all the way around to, where was it, Germany you had to end up there, Sam, is that right? So, some great stories. He's airborne qualified, high altitude parachutist. Here's one of these crazy guys that jumps out of airplanes. Airborne Pathfinder qualified and a graduate of both U.S. foreign countries Airborne Special Operations Program. He is a U.S. Army War College graduate and is designated U.S. Fellow studying International Security at the British High Command Studies Center in Cambridge, United Kingdom. He's commanded a platoon, company, battalion, brigade, and task force level. So here's true command experience. He served a 3-year tour in Vietnam, commanded over 9,000 soldiers in the first Gulf War, and has lived and traveled or operated over 75 foreign countries. I take these a little out of order relative to how you're supposed to wear them. He has 3 Purple Hearts. So here's a guy who really served his country honorably. He has a Defense Superior Service Medal, 3 awards of the Legion of Merit, 2 awards of the Distinguished Flying Cross, 3 awards of the Bronze Star Medal, 2 awards of the Air Medal for Valor, and 3 awards of Meritorious Service Medal, and multiple other awards and decorations. Highly decorated combat veteran. His last 3 years on military active duty were spent in the White House, serving as Director of Presidential Contingency Programs, providing direct support to former Presidents Bush and Clinton. He remains connected to supporting national level programs, so he spends a lot of time traveling back to the DC area. In fact, got back yesterday from DC again. Among his hobbies are building very large model airplanes and actively supporting the Heritage Flight Museum. We're really happy to have him on board. Interestingly, we have a few of the planes that Sam flew many years ago. We have the 01, which we were hoping to have sitting right here, but the weather this week was supposed to be sunny. How many watched, last Sunday's weather forecast? The whole week was supposed to be sunny. Didn't quite work out that way. He's also flown Beaver and several other airplanes. So, without further ado, Sam's going to talk for about 10 minutes. This is Sam's videos up here. We're going to try to get these running. These are Super 8 videos from his time in Vietnam, so we're just going to have that kind of running in the background as we go. So here's some really interesting, from a historical standpoint, primary data and recordings of the history of operations in Vietnam. So without further ado, Sam's going to spend about 10-15 minutes discussing some of his activities.